Hello friends, welcome back. Let's take a look at Ethereum, and Ethereum's been doing great again. So what have we got at the minute, and what are we looking at for in terms of the prices and where we come from, where we're going? This is the 4-hour time frame. We've been coming up here. It's been happening without divergence. That's good to see. Should prices turn around and go all the way back down again due to the closes that we had up here at 175 on this 4-hour time frame, we actually would be able to escape the clutches of saying that there was any divergence going on here or anything at all. We've got everything's convergent overall, and that's good to have. In terms of this last section of the downward trend here in the 4-hour time frame, there's a little bit of sort of bullish divergence, which was good, and that's paid off for us. There could be a touch of hidden bearish divergence if you then to go back out to bigger time frames and look up and say, like, if we get up to these areas on the bigger time frames. Again, especially between, say, over here and where we are now with the prices of the RSI, for instance, and Stochastics, all the rest of them being up so high compared to over in these areas. Should the prices go on back down on a daily time frame and actually go below that $100 level, and things would be very, very, very bad, and you'd have that on the bigger time frame. But in terms of the smaller time frame, things are looking good again, and that's good. And in terms of the bigger time frame and the where we are right now in terms of the moving averages, things are also looking fairly good. We've got up above the 200 simple here, and we're up here having come up to our next profit taking level of 185 quite nicely there at this white horizontal line that we've had drawn in, and we can start asking questions about whether or not we could get in a higher low here, potentially somewhere down here, or if we can continue up towards the top end of this channel and perhaps even go up as far as 192, 193. Again, though, we need to be aware that that we're still overall, this could still be a downward trend in the bigger picture. If you go up towards the 2 days and the weekly and things like that, should the prices not be able to continue going up, overall in the longer term, and there is a general weakness in the economy that we really need to be aware of. So there is bigger picture sort of problems to be sort of aware of, and this is a death cross, so we need to see the prices remain up and above these areas and to continue that to undo this on the bigger time frame. But let's go back down to the smaller time frame, and you can see how when we were sort of in between the 50 and the 200 white dotted line, the red dotted line here, that there's this sort of movement around on the moving averages, and things were kind of like questioning about where we would be, but we actually came up and broke right above that as we went through the 166 sort of price mark that we've been talking about recently. I don't know why that's not. Oh yeah, you can see here when we came through here and came up and actually really managed to achieve this Fibonacci retracement line, for instance, and the 166 area in general. We knew about 160. That was good because we came back down and retested it in that area at 168, and we've come up since subsequently to this 185. Now that's been a profit taking target for us, and it would be reasonable then to sort of take a look down here and say, how are we doing in terms of where we've come on the oscillators down below here, and we've not quite tested off the top of the bearish control zone, bullish control zone, but we're right in here and deep into this area, and that's quite good to see. We could in terms of saving this sort of delight to later for the dessert for after the main course, you could come down and set a sort of higher high and then go on up. That would be okay. Want to see it staying within the bullish control zone over here, because if it were to drop down there in the shape of this sort of thing, you could potentially see bearish divergence coming in. It's that sort of thing if you were to be going down it and below this. But we'll see how it goes. And yes, in terms of stochastics, then how are we doing? Well, we actually managed to make it up just here, just in terms of the thinnest of margins, to be able to say that that there's not any divergence here on the go as well. So any close in here essentially above that 175 area is a bearish divergence free close on those oscillators, but not so much on the MACD between these 2 points here. In fact, between this point, and this point, looking back the way, you could say that there's divergence there. Of course, that's all the way back as far as here on the 7th of April or so. So you know, we in the bigger time frame, there's the bigger sort of picture. There's that to be aware of and a little bit kind of concerned about, as well as you can see here on the RSI. It's the same story really, and the stochastics the same story really. In terms of you know, since this downward movement and this low here, this being a high, and this being a higher low. In terms of the shape of it and things like that, it's not entirely compelling. You know, it's not very much of a higher low, and it just seems that this is all kind of more one of the overall upward movement of this thing. So you know, the oscillators reset. We've come in here, but we need to see this was this is so high here, over on this particular part here in the 4-hour time frame, that to look at this overall as being an upward trend and seeing the prices, you have to see the prices come up here above this 192 into the 200s and push up above these areas into quite extreme ranges of the 90s and whatnot, to avoid having some sense of divergence on there. So maybe on the one hand it's too much to take that into account. Maybe on the other hand it's something we just need to bear in mind. Should prices get up to there and go no further, it could be something to bear in mind. I don't know. Right now it's just something I'm looking at. And in the 24-hour time frame, yeah, did we talk about this a second ago? I think we did. We said that we're okay here and not on the bigger picture, but that's fine. And over the last thing, and we're talking about like over a month's price action, you know, and so we're okay, sort of basing this and saying that we've got no divergence on this overall upward trend, so that's fine. Overall, do want to see it be able to break into the bullish control zone, which it's not managed to do so far. And if we did come up there and touch it, what so often happens, as we say on this channel, is that you get rejected on your first pass. So could it happen here and us get rejected on our first pass? Yes, it could. It absolutely could. So we have to be aware of that, and that's only a little bit further away from where we are just now. So you know, any further upward movement towards this 190s and whatnot would be definite profit taking targets for me just for now, in terms of looking at this and trying to see, will we come in and retest this 177 area. Overall, the price has done very well here, and could I see it coming in and sitting in a higher low anywhere in this area? Yes, I could. The 171 area where they've got this, we've got the 200 simple moving average, is something to be aware of as well, and to try and to hope that the prices then therefore stay above that for the longer term, in order to keep trending towards the upside and undo this death cross that we have on the daily time frame. However, should it go below those prices, I would be comfortable enough with seeing it go all the way back down as far as, say, 160 or so, where we have the 50 simple moving average and the 21 EMA as well, and it could easily come in there and sit in a higher low as part of this overall structure in this channel. So that could actually constitute my summary, really, I suppose. Overall, is that the price has done well. We're at a point of profit taking target just now. I could see it turning around from this area and going back down easily enough over the next day. I could also see it going up, but I wouldn't expect it to go any higher necessarily in a hurry than 193 without wanting to take profits from it. I'm not a financial advisor, and that's financial advice. I need to remember to say that in all the episodes. This is just what I'm looking at, and then I could maybe see a turnaround coming in here for a higher high, and about areas I'd be looking at again would be 177, 170, and 160, sort of to in terms of how this is structuring up really overall. And then 155 yet again is right at the bottom of where this channel would be at the minute. It could go as far as that, of course, and sit in a higher low, and breaking down to 150 area would be the Alamo, I suppose. Going past that just now for me would be breaking out of that overall structure, and we'd be looking for perhaps downside maybe as far as 140 and 136 again, where we have that 236 moving average Fibonacci retracement coming back in at. Is that enough of summary? I don't know. I think I summarised that. Yeah? Okay, let me know. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next episode. Oh, the trend's looking okay, this thing here at the minute, by the way, but we're just below, still below 20 here on the ADX. Thought I'd point that out as well, actually. So, we're not quite yet there in that really trending upwards phase, and that'd be okay. That'd be fine. You could come in, have this higher low wherever, and then do it the next kind of round, and then get a nice upward strength trend, or, perhaps by that time maybe we'll be able to look at it and think maybe there's a correction in stall for us. Either way, you can play this either way at the minute, essentially, and just be sort of cautious and prudent and all that, obviously, and don't push your risk limits too much and all that sort of jazz. I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I really appreciate all of it.